Have you ever heard the word covet? No, not the word coven, although when you look deeply into it, it seems the two are related somehow. But when you look at the word covet, the basic definition is to desire something that someone else has. But it goes much deeper than that when you look in Scripture. When you're reading in 2 Corinthians chapter 10, we read a passage that Paul wrote that is often quoted and is very powerful when learning about spiritual warfare. It says, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations of every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, bringing into captivity each thought to the obedience of Christ." God tells us in his word not to covet, and he tells it for good reason. Because when you look at the context, especially of what Paul is saying later on in 2 Corinthians chapter 10, Paul was dealing with people, and he was dealing with spiritual warfare, but he was very much dealing with carnal people as well. They were opposing him, not because they disagreed with him necessarily, but because they wanted what he had. And so a little later in 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12, Paul says, "We do not dare to classify or compare ourselves with the ones who commend themselves. When they measure themselves with themselves and compare themselves with themselves, they are not wise." Coveting, going deeper than just desiring something that someone has. To covet is when you are desiring something that someone has to the point so deeply where it clouds your vision from what God has given you. The truth is, when you see something that someone else has, you don't know what it cost them. You don't know what they went through to get there. You don't know all that's behind it. And most importantly, you don't even know if it is for you. Then at that point, the covetous mindset will shift your focus from God to people. You'll start listening to people instead of listening to God. And it will make you overlook what God is doing and has already done in your life and leave you feeling like what God has done for you is not enough. Now, those words may not be uttered. Those words may not even be thought, but that is the atmosphere that a covetous person is in. The feeling that what God has given me is not enough. So the lesson today, stay focused on your assignment. What God has for you will not require taking from someone else. And if you do, you may end up fighting battles that God never intended for you to fight. So stand, and trust in the Lord, and be thankful for what he has done in your life.